Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Mardek, and last time we went through the Dream Cave, and also picked up Meridor's, another party member, so the party continues to grow, and what we're gonna do here today is, I believe what we ought to do, is take a look at our map here, and see what else we can explore on this northern continent here, before we ultimately end up deciding to go down south via this warport here. However, a few places that come to mind as places that we have not yet checked out in Chapter 3 would be the guard post, which I'd imagine is probably fairly simple here. It's usually just these two guys, right? Hey up there, Sir Mardek. You're free to pass through here whenever you like. Thank you, Mercutio. Of course, anyone is free to pass through whenever they like, unless they're a monster. But you get an extra special privilege for free travel. You're great. Apparently we're a VIP. My girlfriend left me a while ago. Said I wasn't dashing or heroic enough. She kept fawning over this mysterious lone wolf fellow, saying I wasn't enough like him. I bet that guy gets all the girls, just like Social Fox did. I think their ginormous greatswords have something to do with it. Alright, and just out of curiosity, can we finally go through this wall that is apparently painted like a door, but isn't actually a door? Wait, this isn't a door. It's actually a wall, painted to look like a door. How misleading. He may have gotten us this time, but not next time. Okay, so that's the guard post. As we probably suspected, not much going on there. One of the other places I wanted to check out, though, was Cambria. This, of course, being the Trilobite city from Chapter 2. And it was previously an area that we put a lot of effort into getting access to at all. We had to, of course, pick up all the Trilobite keys in Chapter 2. However, this time, we don't need all those Trilobite keys. We already have unlocked Cambria, so we can go straight here. So, what is the deal on this occasion? This place is a secret place. It has nothing to do with the plot. You should give yourself a hearty smack on the back for reaching here. Well done! If I'm not mistaken, I do think that is exactly what that guy said in Chapter 2. And, that Trilobite seemed to go through the door, yet didn't go through the door. Okay, we'll just try not to think about that too much. We're actually insectoids, but we have the gift of sentience. It's neat and nifty. We can use it for baking things. Yeah, I guess of all the priorities you could theoretically have with sentience, then baking is somewhere on that priority list. I'll give you that much. You're here for the arena challenges, right? All the adventurers and wannabe heroes always come down here to fight monsters and each other for kicks, chicks, and cash. It's so barbaric. Also, I'll meet you in the arena and you're going down, punk. Hells yeah. I think that also might be the same as what we heard in Chapter 2. So, what exactly, if anything, is new in here in Chapter 3? I think we'll find out soon enough. Yes? Do I know you, barbaric mammalian beast from the surface? I didn't know I knew any barbaric mammalian beast from the surface. I must be going senile. How annoying. Okay, so I think what we're seeing here is that, in many cases, the people that we're talking to are the same people that we talked to previously, the same trilobites, and they do have similar, or in some cases, entirely identical things to say to us that we heard them say in Chapter 2. However, I assure you there are things that are different this time around. We could go back to these shops here, and they were previously the best shops in the game. So if we're feeling like we wanted to pick up, say, more of the Moonstone rings or Onyx rings, those were some things that we were considering previously, because they had those really high dark resistances and light resistances, which seem like they're becoming more and more relevant. Other than that, most of these other things, we were at one point in time also saying that an additional body and maybe mind crystal could also be helpful for us to help master these skills more quickly. Things like plus 10% HP. So we could consider that. It is 1,000 coins, which is a little bit on the pricey side, but we also have over 85,000 at this point, so maybe that's enough. I think we actually have picked up numerous of these Shadow Blades, so that might be a quick and easy way to make a little bit of money. So there we go. Okay. I'm not necessarily sure we're going to feel like we need to get anything from these shops, though, because we have, of course, been to them and I don't believe any of the items are going to change either. Humans? In our village? This is most strange. And so on and so forth. I've probably only ever read about you in books or something like that. Maybe. Okay, so let us focus on what I think will be quite new for us. Because it does seem as though most of the people back there are saying the same things we've already heard. And this guy is blocking us from going up here, which previously was the area where the arena was. He is Lord Sir Bong Bong McBong Tong, the moderately bonkers. Sure.
Stop! You cannot pass here. You shall not pass.
Into the arena. For 6 of our mighty warriors are currently on a journey. Okay, what does that have to do with us, though? Why does that not allow us through here? Well, how are those two things related in any way? That's what I'm saying, Mardek. Unless you can find all 6 missing Trilobite warriors, you'll be unable to pass into the arena. That is all you need to know. Any kind of logical backstory for this challenging barrier is unnecessary. All that matters is that this will mean that you cannot beat the arena before most of the plot, whatever that means. You've defeated and returned 0 Trilobites so far. Not good enough. Look for them all over the world. Be prepared for battle when you encounter them. Okay, so, as Sir Lord Bong Tong McBong Tong, the moderately bonkers, was saying, that does mean that we will have to go out and find Trilobite warriors in order to, it appears, fight them, based on what he was saying there. And once we've done that, and done that for 6 of those warriors, then supposedly that will be enough for us to make it through there. And we haven't necessarily seen any signs of those warriors yet, or so you might think. Technically speaking, we have gone to a location where we have just barely, kinda, sorta seen one. See if you can figure out what that might have been. We noted that there was something there that we might want to do, but I made a comment that we wanted to wait a little bit longer until we ultimately ended up doing it, because I said we weren't ready yet. Maybe that's enough of a hint for you to figure out what it was. However, if we make it to Hero's Den, of course, the previous location where Mardek and Dugan were doing their childhood adventures, we will find that there's a Trilobite right here. Not in Cambria? What the heck? So one moment here, while we just quickly pop a save. Oh, no reason. No reason. Just, you know. It's not like if we talk to this Trilobite here that he might just so happen to be one of those Trilobite warriors that the guy was just talking about. Ha! I am a Trilobite warrior. Fight me! And goes straight into one of these fights. And the reason why I was thinking that this might not necessarily be something that we want to do immediately is because if you take a look here, he's level 22, we are level 10, 9, 12, and at least in Mardek's case, 23. But for the most part, this guy is likely to absolutely annihilate us right now. So I'll show you what it's like, just for the sake of showing you what it's like. And it gives us a better sense as to when it might be a good idea for us to start to focus more on taking these guys out. So do 100% water resistance. They are water elementals, so I suppose that's somewhat fitting. A little bit weak to air, fairly weak to earth. Other than that, a little bit of resistances, and they have a lot of physical defense, no magical defense, so it seems as though attacking them with magic is probably the way to go. As for Elwian here, we don't have many options other than to use Spirit Song, so let's do that. And here is Siphon, which is a water spell, which of course he used against our character that is weak to water. Fortunately, Meriador is still alive here, but we use a thermal spanner, and I believe this is our first battle with Meriador. Let's take a look at this. It inflicts fire damage on a single foe, also lowers defense by 1, and sometimes causes numbness. If we could get all those things to happen, then that might help us out here. We need everything to go right for us to have any chance of this working out here. So, oh, and I missed the reaction, which is not going to help, but he did get -3 defense, so in theory that means future attacks will deal more damage. And he did, at least to start off, like we were saying, have 20 defense, so just a few more of those, and he'll be in a place where I guess his defense won't be tremendously high. Okay, so Razor Leaf, in theory, might be a good option here, because we were saying that spells are really the way we ought to go, and Earth is the element we ought to use. However, we want to make a point of healing everyone so that Meriador doesn't get taken out if, say, the Trilobite targets him in the next turn, that might be worthwhile. So let's do this here. Is enough to fully restore Meriador's HP. And I'm thinking that for Mardek, if we are actually legitimately trying to take this Trilobite warrior out here, which, like I was saying before, this is not a good idea. Don't do this. This is way too early to do this. But we're going to try just to see if it's possible. We can put up a shield on, I don't know, say Elwian, because just about anyone, I think, has the possibility of getting one shot here. So Elwian, just keep up the good work here. Oh, I missed that as well. And look at that! It targeted Mardek, our highest HP character. I missed the reaction. However, he's on 10. 10 HP right now. And so if that hit anyone else, they would have been completely annihilated. So again, just in case you didn't believe me when I said that this is not a good time to do this, wow, I am just completely off on these reactions here. So that's definitely not doing us any favors. Now we could use Earth Heal here. Heal everyone, except it's going to split that heal across everyone and not have the same type of focused heal that Mardek would have if he were to just heal one person. So I actually am not sure if this is going to be... I think it's probably going to be a little bit worse than Mardek's heal. The reason why it could theoretically still be close is because remember that healing is based on two things primarily. Your character's level, Mardek is 23, whereas Gloria is 12, so Mardek does have an advantage there. However, it's also based on spirit, and Gloria has 18, whereas Mardek has only 13. So, balance those things out, and maybe Gloria gets close, but I think that more likely than not, Mardek's level 23 outweighs Gloria's spirit 18. So, for that reason, why don't we try a Razor Leaf here? See how that works out for us? And then we'll focus on healing with Mardek. And that is a reasonable amount of damage, actually, about 700. Then Mardek, what we're saying is, you have to heal yourself here. Still not enough to fully heal, okay? Now, Elwian is next, and bear in mind that the Trilobite Warrior will be going after her, so make sure that we hit our reaction this time, because we're not going to be so lucky. If we miss it next time, then someone's probably going down. Okay, that was a mass stone explosion, so it hit everyone. We did have someone wearing... I thought it was going to be the Geo Jacket at first, however, as I think we previously established, Gloria actually has over 100% Earth resistance, even without the Geo Jacket, so that is quite nice. She healed from that. Mardek didn't take too much damage, because he has the strongest reactions that we did actually manage to hit that reaction, whereas Elwian, Meriador, you don't have as much to mitigate that damage, and therefore you guys not looking great right now. So we could theoretically try to use an item with Meriador. I'm not even sure if we put any notable items on him, things that could heal or anything of that sort. So I think for the most part, you can just attack, and that's about it. The defense keeps on going down. It is now all the way down to 8, so it's getting a little bit easier. See that Meriador's damage still hasn't really picked up much, but that is primarily because Meriador at this stage just doesn't have a lot of damage to begin with. Whereas if we were to, say, switch over to Mardek and start attacking with him, I think we'd find that our attacks are starting to become a lot more effective. As for Gloria, though, I think you were the person dealing the most damage previously, but an Earth Heal does sound very useful right now to, say, heal up both Meriador and Elwian simultaneously. Even Mardek, to a certain extent, needs it, so let's give this a shot. And it looks like it will be enough to heal everyone up to full HP, so that's a good sign. Mardek, tempting as it may be to try to attack with you, I think first priority is to create those shields. It also seems like the Trilobite Warrior is going to be using primarily spells, so we might want to prioritize putting up the magic shield rather than the physical shield. And who do we feel like is most important for us to keep up? I think Elwian is the squishiest, the most likely to go down. So for that reason, let's focus on her first. And we'll use Spirit Song again. Keep that going. Mass Stone Explosion again. There you see that it does minimize, at least to the extent we can minimize, the damage that Elwian took there. So that helps. I think, even though Gloria has Earth Resistance and Mardek has more HP and generally better defensive reactions, those two are probably going to be our last two priorities. And there's Numb on the Trilobite Warrior. We were saying how there's a chance of Meriador being able to inflict that. That means that he will not be able to use attacks, which could actually be very helpful, because that means we know for certain that he's going to be using spells, and so we can commit 100% to putting up those magic barriers, unless, of course, he has a way of removing that status. So Gloria, let's continue to use an Earth Heal here. And you do need to master this, so in some ways that is helpful as well, if you get the chance to use that so much. The Magic Shield, I was saying, Meridor, I think that is the person we should target next. Then Elwian, keep up the Spirit Songs, and there, the Trilobite Warrior was going to try to use a physical attack, and Numbness stopped him from doing so, so we lucked out big time. Basically means it skips his turn, so that is huge for us, and I believe this attack here will reduce him to 0 defense, or at least very close to it. 0, yeah. So now that we've put up magic barriers on everyone who we feel like needs a magic barrier, maybe that's enough for Mardek to start using physical attacks here, but we could still put them up on Gloria and Mardek. That might still be worthwhile. However, because, of course, the Trilobite Warrior did not get the chance to attack last turn, does mean that Gloria could, say, use a Razor Leaf here. So again, the damage, it's something. It's actually not that insignificant. And then, if we were to, I think, probably use the Magic Barrier on Mardek next. It seems like he really wants to use Earth spells against us, and like we were saying previously, that's no big deal for Gloria. It does still hurt Mardek. Siphon, though, is a bit of an issue. Fortunately, opted to go for Elwian, who has 70% water resistance, and the Magic Barrier. So I believe we might have seen that, I'm pretty sure, that spell leeches HP from the target to the Trilobite Warrior. However, since it was such a small amount, I'm hoping that won't be much of a difference maker. And now I think we're seeing that Meridor is starting to deal a little bit more damage. Not that it's making a huge difference because, again, his damage is so low to begin with. But he's, for the most part, done his job in that he has lowered this guy's defense and also caused the numbness effect, which, as we've already seen, has been pretty big for us. So we could opt to use our Earth Heal just to heal Elwian here. I think that is probably kind of overkill at this stage. So let's again go for a Razor Leaf here. And at this point, Trilobite Warrior is roughly at half HP. So I think that's a good sign. So we could put on a Magic Shield for Gloria. I think that is probably still worthwhile in case he does opt to use any water spells against her. That's something that we'd probably want to try to prevent him from taking her out in one hit. Okay, and there again, his turn got skipped because he was going to use a physical attack and he's numbed, so he can't do it. So we'll whittle away at his HP a little bit more with Meridor. We should probably double check if Meridor has any items at all, because at this stage, Meridor is not doing much on his turn anymore. So, let's keep up the Razor Leaps. Slightly less damage that time, it seems, but Trilobite Warrior is now into the yellow/orange, so that's a good sign. And we could go to physical shields now, however, of course, we don't have any reason to believe that this guy's going to be able to use physical attacks here, so we might actually have a strong reason to use regen here, because we're assuming this is going to continue to be a relatively long fight, and this will give each character, or at least any character we can apply it to, a chance to restore a little bit of HP automatically at the start of their turn, and maybe take a little bit of pressure off of Gloria to always be healing, or Mardek to always be healing. Gloria is also starting to run a little bit low on MP, which is a bit concerning. Mardek definitely has some items that could restore some. Let's put the regen on Elwian here, because she's the only person who does not have full HP at the moment. That being said, she also has the lowest HP to begin with, and since regen restores 10% of your total HP, the raw amount of healing she gets is going to be the least. However, the Trilobite Warrior again opts to siphon off of Elwian, which is, again, the ideal person for him to do that to. And Meridor more than makes up for whatever damage he might have leached back. Gloria, just keep on Razor Leafing. And at this point, this is starting to look somewhat doable, you know? I absolutely had my doubts. Even more so than that, I would say I was assuming that this was going to be more or less impossible at this stage to succeed at, but we are getting awfully close here. So maybe, let's make a point of also putting on a physical shield on Gloria, because she has been the MVP for sure. That's actually enough for Mardek to level up. Okay, so Elwian, just keep on doing your thing. Again, the Trilobite would have attacked there, but was not able to because he's numb, so that has been also huge for us. Make no mistake. Gloria might be doing the really noticeable thing of dealing all the damage, but that was a huge move from Meridor to set us up such that we didn't need to be focusing so much on healing every single turn. allows Gloria to have the opportunity to attack rather than heal. And then we probably could finish here with Mardek. Do we want to play it safe and maybe just build up a little bit more of a barrier first? We could. Don't necessarily think it's strictly necessary at this stage. But it does also give people a little bit more opportunity to master up the skills that they very much need to master still. Hellion will be close here. Stone Explosion. A little bit scary, but remember, that's largely the reason why we put up those magic shields. Now the damage doesn't look nearly as scary as it was previously. Meriador. I mean, collectively across all those attacks, probably made a little bit of a difference. You know, it might have come close to as much damage as Gloria did in one turn here, but I think Gloria's probably going to finish it off. This one here, the Razor Leaf, does the trick. Yeah, I didn't think we could do it. I absolutely did not think it was going to be possible, but somehow, we made it work. Well done. You have won. You've defeated one of us so far. Keep at it, young man. I will be going now. Good day. And there goes the Trilobite Warrior. So, yes, as the person in Cambria was saying, there are 6 of those Trilobite Warriors. We have now fought and successfully defeated one of them. Let's just save here real quick, in that case. So it is possible, it seems, to finish those guys off at this stage, which is a good sign. And so, for the most part, we're just going to have to track down where all those 4 other Trilobites might be. And as the crazy Trilobite in Cambria was saying, that is, for the most part, going to be something that is going to take us a long time to do, even if I would have assumed that it would be too difficult of a fight for us to do right now. We also just need to figure out where those other ones are, and that's probably going to take us a little bit longer. So, this will end up being an endgame bonus content type of thing for us that we're only going to be able to get around to very close to the end of the game, but we can of course get ourselves closer to that, especially because, well, we just proved that we can still get it done. So one other thing that I thought we ought to do is check in with some of the people who've recently joined the party, because I don't think we've actually made a point of speaking to them yet. Rohoff, I suppose we could check if you have any other general updates for us. It has been a little while, and Mardek did just level up, so that might be reason enough for Rohoff to suddenly have something new to say to us.
Yes, Mardek? You wish to speak to me? Well, I'm afraid I have nothing to say to you right now.
Well, that answers that question, though. Gloria?
Oh, sorry, Mardek. I don't have anything significant to contribute right now. Maybe some other time?
Nothing from Gloria either, which maybe means that, generally speaking, it's too early to have these people have a general update for us, and or they just don't have any reason to react to the Hero's Den. They don't have the same kind of rich history with this area as Mardek and Dugan did. They're like, why the heck are we in this random cabin area in the woods?
Hey, Mardek, I love that you can't keep your eyes off me. How's about we stop sometime for a good long chat? You know? I'd like that. And so would you, I'm sure.
Elwian? What are you getting at here? As for Meriador...
Oh, hello, Mardek. Anything you need? No? Well, if there ever is, I just... give me the word. As they say...
Alright, Meriador, sure thing. And with that, I think that for the most part, that means that we've covered all the major locations that we have reason to cover, at least at this stage, in this northern continent here. There are a few more that we might want to double back to at some point. I suppose we could poke our heads ever so briefly in the gem mine here. But for the most part, I think that we'll find... Wait, what? What are you doing here?
Hello there. I'm a miner. I don't want to be a bother or anything, but could you not come down this path right now? You see, my fellow miners finally managed to coax one of the girlies from Gosnor into entering the mines, and now they're having a fun time in there. Not something you'd want to be seeing, to be honest.
Okay, NSFW, thank you. Other than that, I think for the most part, what we're going to find is there's not really anything new in the gem mines here. I suppose we could try and exploring ever so briefly, but I really don't think we're going to find much. So maybe we make a beeline for the final area, just to see if there happens to be anything like in that boss area where we previously fought Murius. That seems like that would probably be the most likely place. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm going the wrong direction here. Am I? I am. Okay. That's what I get for not double-checking the map. It's been a while since we were in here. And for the most part, of course, we're going to find these enemies are not terribly difficult for us at this stage. Otherwise, I'd be pretty concerned. Still, I suppose, an opportunity for people to get the chance to master up some of those skills. But it could even be worth just skipping through fights here if we're truly trying to make it over to that final area just to see if there's anything we ought to know. But I think I'm mostly just doing this to double check. I'm pretty darn sure the answer is no. This is also going to be a dead end. Do you remember the layout of the gem mines? I remember enough to know that we're going down the wrong route right as we are about to find that wrong route, find the end of it. So this is where we fought the bandits that were secretly 4 blokes. Just go on a trip down memory lane here. This was the beginning of chapter 2, remember that. It was a long time ago. And this is the route that, of course, Mardek and Dugan went, however, remember that Charla and Donovan went down... Oh, Brown Manson here. I suppose this guy could theoretically still get a hit in, but it's level 3, right? Surely this won't be an issue. Surely it won't be an issue. But yes, so Charla and Donovan went down the right path, which is where the miners were, and still are, apparently. Then Emila and Steely went down the left-hand route, which led more directly to this final area here, so that actually should have been the route that we ought to have taken. Would have been a little bit quicker. Whereas Mardek and Dugan were, of course, the ones that went down the route that we just took. And did we put the evasion on Elwian? I feel like we probably did. That's probably why we just had 3 out of 3 leech bats with trying to attack her. That is enough for her to master Spirit Song, so at the very least, that gives us that. Even if there's nothing of note in the gem mines, we can at least say that we mastered something in here. And, oh, not Earth Heal. I was thinking if we could say Razor Leaf both these guys. Except they apparently have 100% resistance to Earth. They sure do. But even on this occasion, we did reduce their vitality by 1, so I wasn't noting exactly how much HP they had to start off with, but in theory it should be a little bit lower. So even that did do something. We'll just take them out. Okay, that time they did manage to hit Elwian. It's not going to work every single time. What I was saying previously with Elwian is that now that we've mastered this skill, we don't necessarily need to be pressing this button every time we take a turn with her. What we can do is, instead, if we press wait, she's still going to continue to use it. So we don't need to worry about that. And it's a little bit more of a convenient way to be fighting with her. Unless, of course, you want to change which skill she's using, which at the moment she only has 1. But in the future, we'd like for her to, of course, increase her repertoire of songs. So, no signs of Murius or anything else here. As for this area where there's previously some good loot, all the chests are taken. And there's a drill line or 2. Okay, so I'm not sure if we've actually tried using a physical attack with Elwian, but we'll give it a shot here, just to see. And, well, she does try to whack people with the harp. It is true. However, she doesn't always hit, apparently. As for Meriador, however, no problem for him. Okay. And there's actually Nature's Favor mastered for Floria, which I believe, if I remember correctly, was the skill that was allowing her to have a little bit of resistance to some statuses: poison, silence, sleep, and paralysis. That's actually a lot. Other than that, we did see that Mardek leveled up once from the Trilobite fight. So let's just double check if he has the ability to equip any new reactions here. So he has 2 remaining RP here, which does mean that theoretically we could remove, say, plus 10% damage and gain Quarry Undead. At the moment, it doesn't seem like we're fighting too many undead enemies, so that's probably not a priority. But I'm pretty sure that he has gained an additional RP here. So it is possible that, say, we might be able to do something else. However, generally speaking, when it comes to RP, at least for passive abilities here, it's going to be the even number of RP that's going to be most significant. So you see that Mardek is on 15 right now. And the reason why that is important is because when he has 15, it's kind of tough when all the skills here cost an even number of RP. getting 1 additional RP doesn't really make a difference, because there's none that's going to cost 1 RP, with a few exceptions. One of those exceptions, in fact, being Nature's Favor that we just saw with Gloria. It's basically going to be that some characters will have skills that are uniquely available to them. Nature's Favor is one of those. We saw one with Slinik as well, I believe, that was sort of similar in nature. It also costs 1 RP. Mardek does not have any of those, though, so that means that he's going to have to reach the even RP numbers to have any additional RP be of any use to him. And at the moment, of course, he's on the odd number, so even if he did pick up a new RP after gaining that level, at least with regard to this area here, it's not going to be a huge difference maker. And it seems like unless we pick up new skills for him to learn elsewhere, then for the most part, it's not an RP that's going to make a big difference for us. So, with that, I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up here, and we'll end up warping out of this place. So I think that we are just about ready now to move on from this northern continent, head through that warport we were talking about previously, and make it back to the southern one.